I was sitting in the GP waiting room, suitably preened for a smear test, when a nurse appeared, calling my name. I don't really get out much, and spend way too much time on my own. Enough to talk to spiders, and I crave laughter like a coke addict craves coke. A trapped audience has me as excited as said coke addict with a fix. I have a joke for every occasion. Personally, I find sex jokes work best on the NHS and old men, and years of teaching belly dancing have given me enough fanny jokes to rival Joan Rivers. Anyone who listens to me is fair game for a routine, but I had met my match with the elderly gent in the waiting room. His idea of banter was complaints and embarrassing jokes, the sort that should only be heard once. Being deaf didn't help. He was so loud I could hear him in the car park. He was in mid-rad about GP's receptionists and their inability to make appointments when the nurse appeared. "Would you mind awfully if a student practices on you?" "Student?" huffed the elderly gent. "No students coming near my bits and pieces. I can't even get a good night's sleep thanks to my prostrate. And you want some whippersnapper to have a rummage?" "Dad," hissed his daughter, "she's talking to the lady next door, next to you." He looked at me. "You've a prostrate too?" I laughed as the nurse led me down the corridor, asking me again if it was all right for a student to have a go. "Mind?" I chirped. "My fanny's had more viewings than a house auction. It's seen more strangers than the London Tube." Which is not strictly true, but I am a slut when it comes to getting a laugh. Menopause can do that to a woman. Sometimes I feel like that's all I've got left. Jokes. The nurse opened the door to a girl who didn't look old enough to order a pint, let alone do a smear test. The nurse told me to strip, gestured to the examination bed with a "make yourself comfortable," like the two go together, then disappeared with the underage student behind the curtain. I removed my bottom bits, jumped on the bed, and then I toyed with the idea of cracking my standard "at my age, you've got to take what you can get" joke, but I decided against it. It didn't really fit with the "I've been around the block so many times I've lost count" theme, and in my experience, it's best to coordinate jokes rather than throw them out randomly like a fisherman. Especially in the clinical room with all the warmth of a morgue. The sort of atmosphere that no amount of heating could destroy. Enough implements to have me sitting with my legs crossed, and more lubricant than a dildo shop. You can have your work cut out for you in such places, and it's best to warm up with one theme. And I was going for a good time girl rather than a desperate old gin. "The last time I did this for a stranger, I was pissed," I said, "and that wasn't yesterday." They pulled over the curtain as I got myself into the sort of position that requires a lot of deep breathing. "And this is where the cleaner comes in," I said. The ever-youthful student slipped on her gloves with a condom-style flick, smeared gel over the thingy, and then with these shaky hands turned to the nurse with a "which bit?" look. After a certain amount of prodding, and fumbling enough to make me glad she wasn't male, I left the examination room and bumped into the elderly gentleman, huffing up the corridor with his daughter, looking at a prescription. He caught my eye. "Curing the prostrate, a piece of piss according to that, Doc." "Dad, he didn't say that." "May as well have." He stopped for a breath. "We're off to the chemist for a carry-out." "Pills, Dad." "At my age, it's a carry-out." He leant towards me. "The days of a half bottle and a bit of how's your father are gone for me. Now it's pills, creams, and if I'm lucky, a few hours kip." "You sleep like a horse, Dad." I laughed. "A carry-out for me is a tube of lubricant and a tub of denture cream." He looked at me and smiled. "Well, make the most of it, honey. One day there'll be Senecot and a hot water bottle." Well, I hope that hasn't put you off old men, unless you are one. I hope it hasn't put you off examination rooms or students. And I hope next time someone cracks you a joke because they're lonely, then you'll give them a good laugh. Until next time, happy reading.